Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Welcome in, everybody, to the Gen Existentialist podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And we're here with you for the next little bit, talking about all manner of things from a Gen X perspective. We will spin Megawheel the Magnificent, upon which sits over 500 topics, the range of which can only be dreamt of in your wildest, probably, nightmares. Anyway, we are part of the Morning Pizza Radio Collective, and if you are new to this show, it's basically two Gen X dudes talking about stuff, which is pretty entertaining. If people want to get a hold of us, and as we do things, we answer questions from Megawheel. If you've got questions you'd like to send, how can people contact us, Bunny?
Well, first way to get in touch with us is just through the Mixcloud page where you found this. Go ahead and drop a comment and let us know what's going on. Otherwise, you can drop us a line at morningpizzaradio@proton.me. That's proton.me. And let me know what's shaking your bacon.
Proton.me. Should we go ahead and give the wheel a spin?
Spin it.
I am spinning Megawheel. And just so everybody knows, I mean, you can't see it, but Bunny has made some modifications to Megawheel.
I am an aesthetic.
And it looks strange. Different. Better? Just different.
She's a corpulent wheel.
Okay. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of love languages? And what is your love language?
Love language. Well, there's, of course, the romantic languages of Italian, French, and what have you. But I think what we mean by love languages, we're talking about how we express ourselves to others.
I have no idea.
Is this like the men are from Mars and women are from Venus claptrap from back in the 80s?
I don't know. It's just, it's love languages, dude.
My love language is, I think love language for me is something that's unspoken. It's something that you do.
So like kinesics? Is that what we're talking about?
Something you do rather than express.
So a wink is better than a hey, how you doing?
Well, you can tell somebody you love them, you love them, you love them all day long, and they may never believe it, or they may never know how to deal with what you're saying. But I think if you show people that you love them, and you don't have to, there's no big giant.
You're talking about exposing yourself?
No. Although I'm sure some people would find some sort of pleasure from that. But
I'm trying to learn something here.
No, I think my dad, my late father, was a perfect example of someone who I learned love language from. Because not only did he tell his family and my mother and me that he loved us on a regular basis, but it was shown. It was an everyday lifestyle. It was a ritual.
Sure.
In a way. It was, hugging my mom when he went through the halls, or, doing little things for her and vice versa. I mean, that's what I think love is, a subtle and small thing when it's at its strongest.
To the point where it's not even a language, it's just how you live.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's part of who you are, the essence of your being.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
So what is your love language, sir?
My love languages are music, Star Wars. Talk Star Wars to me. I'm yours.
He's always got to throw Star Wars in. Every answer is Star Wars.
It's an all-encompassing thing for me. It's just
nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. But music, poetry, because I view it actually as the language aspect. For me, if I can express how I feel, the thoughts, the emotions, words are my weapon, I guess, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
So love language is actually an actual language for you.
Yeah, it really is. Because I think it's a lost art. Because we have ended up in a society where we text, We send short memos, short notes, 140 characters or less, that kind of thing. And it precludes you from really digging in. If you've got a decent way about you as far as conjuring and composing, you can get a lot across in very few words. But I think we tend to shortcut and shortchange the emotional impact of our writings, our compositions, and things too often.
Okay, here's a question for you then.
Yeah.
Do you think music is poetry?
Yes.
Okay, so WAP and stuff like that
Yeah.
is a poem. Okay.
I would throw that into the category of l'art brut, the raw art.
Got a Duchamp fan here.
Well, it's... Yeah, kind of. It's one of those things where there are a lot of different levels of art.
Okay.
Do I view, like, if I've written a song, are the lyrics poetry? Yes.
Sure.
If I start writing something, I usually know whether it's going to lean toward being a lyric versus a poem based on whether there's a rhyme scheme. If there's a rhyme scheme and it's more poetry versus free form, it's probably going to lend itself more toward being sung. And it kind of ends up in that category. But I've got a lot of things that are in like both notebooks, things that I've written that could be a song, could just be a poem. They just haven't found a home yet. And lots of times it's easy to take a poem and turn it into a lyric just by adding, like, the chorus almost becomes like a theme statement that's repeated a couple times. I've done that. It's fun to just like change things and mess around with them and see where they fit best.
All right. Love
so
languages.
Yeah, love languages. Should we spin the wheel again?
Oh, we've got plenty of time.
And actually, for anybody, we already gave you the contact information. What are your love languages? From anybody listening to this, how do you express yourself? How do you enjoy hearing about feeling love from your family, your friends?
Yeah, send us a dirty limerick or two at the Proton Mail.
Dirty limericks will get read live. If we get enough of them, we'll do an entire show just on dirty limericks.
I'll do an interpretive dance just for you.
Now, see, this is one of those topics that what is your worst memory? Because, I mean, that can open a lot of boxes.
I've got quite a few, yeah. But they're all fairly obvious, what you would expect. Worst memory.
Should we narrow it down to a subgenre?
Yeah.
What's your worst, and this just pops into my head, what's your worst work memory? Folks,
memory.
If you're listening, I said that because I know Bunny has a whole basket full of great, just terrible work memories.
But those aren't actually bad memories. A lot of the goofiness that I used to get up to in previous jobs, they're not really bad memories. Those are some of the best memories. I would say some of the worst memories are just, when I was being a waiter and being stuck on my feet for, 12 hours a day.
Well, yeah.
At a Ducks Unlimited special event, whatever the hell that is. And, stuff like that.
Come here, boy.
Yeah. Oh, say, son, come on over here.
Bring
the
some
shotgun.
more seasoned shrimp.
Yeah, exactly. I used to work at a country club, is where we're going with that back in the day. Back before, oh lordy, I found the freedom. So it was
in the dark times.
Well, it was a kid's job.
Before the empire.
Yeah, it was a kid's job. But so I don't really have any like terrible memories. I have memories of daring a knucklehead dishwasher to eat a poinsettia and him being rushed to the emergency room.
Yeah, that's not a bad memory. That's a great memory.
No,
not for him.
Yeah, but the same knucklehead, we had him ride on a giant serving tray into the Olympic-sized pool full of snow at one point, in which he was stuck all the way up to his shoulders trying to get out when he wrote it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just dumb stuff. We were vicious little monkeys, so I don't know.
Yeah, everybody is.
So how about you? What's your worst work memory?
It probably had to do with a manager that I had back in the early 2000s when I was still working in material handling. we had gotten a new branch manager, and he had come from actually one of our customers. And for some reason, I'm not sure why, he just did not like me. I don't know what it was. I never did anything to him. He just didn't like me.
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
To the point where he took something that had occurred that he heard about and completely misheard what had happened and turned it into a disciplinary thing for me. And I got suspended for 3 days. And literally the write-up bore so little of the reality that I took it and showed it to the technician that it was about, that I had had a discussion with. And even he went, that's not what we were talking about at all. Wow. So I got suspended, and this guy, and I tried to tell like our VP at the time when he came down for a meeting, I'm like, this is what's not happening. These are the things he's not doing. This is the stuff you're going to find out eventually that's going on. And eventually the guy left. He was there for maybe a year and a half. At one point we got our annual raises, like merit raises. I got a nickel.
Hey.
Yeah, it was literally enough to just piss you off.
You could buy 2 candy bars in a movie, a soundy back in the day.
But eventually he left and went back to the company from whence he came. And when that same VP came down and started going through his desk and going through all the stuff that they had been told was done, projects that were finished, things that needed to be done with customers, updated PM agreements, things like that, and finding that basically everything I told him was true, I actually got an apology from him.
Oh,
he pulled me out in the warehouse and said, I wish I had listened to you and kept a closer eye on this. I'm like, Mike, I did what I could. I'm sorry. I'm just glad I'm still here. And I was at the time.
Did that happen when you were younger, like in your business, or was this more of a recent thing?
It was 15 years ago or so. Yeah. So I wasn't a kid by any means. And that's why I didn't fly off the handle. I realized, I need to stick this out. I was pissed off.
Sure.
But I need to stick this out because this guy is putting his head in a noose. It's just a matter of who kicks the horse to hang him.
See, I had a similar situation happen when I first got into editing here in Cincinnati. There was a senior editor who would always dangle the idea of like, well, I'll train you on these new systems. I'll train you on these new systems. He never did. Yeah. He didn't want any competition in his world, and was forever very critical and very shitty individual. And I remember I was still young, so I came to him and I said, look, I don't know where we got off on the wrong foot. Is there any way we can just put this aside and just be friends? And he flat out in front of everybody said, no, I will never be your friend. I don't like you.
Good
was his whole thing. And I was like, wow. And I said, well, the wonderful thing is that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be me, and you're going to wake up tomorrow and be stuck being you. I mean, look at you. What a fucking curse, of thing. That was the kind of, there was that weird sort of getting slapped in the face when you're young where it's like, wow, okay, some people just do not like you. Yeah. No matter what you do, you can try to
and you just
do your best or whatever, and they just have a chip on their shoulder about you for some reason.
And realizing that, I mean, both of us as artists, as creative people, I think we both learned early on, not everybody's going to like the stuff you do. Sure. Stay true to yourself and just do what you can.
This was a business. I mean, so we were all working for the client, so it wasn't like we had some sort of individualist
but
streak.
The whole thing about like teaching you the new tech and stuff like that, one thing I am like hung up on, the stuff that I know, the expertise that I've gained over the years, whether it's music, whether it's forklifts, whether it's safety related stuff, regulatory stuff, compliance stuff, like the people I work with, I want them to know.
Sure.
I love it when people ask me questions. What are you looking at when you look at this? I'm going to tell you, because the more you know, the easier my job is. Yeah. Because I don't want to be the only person that knows what a caught-in hazard is. I want everybody to know. So if they see one, they can time out. Well, let's fix this.
I think it's weird that people get hung up on the idea that, if people know what I do, then I'll lose my job. I think that speaks more for you as a person and maybe your abilities.
Yeah. And it shows somebody that is not trying to keep learning. Because I want everybody to know what I know, but I also want to keep learning too. Yeah. And I think those two go hand in hand.
Okay.
Teaching and learning are kind of part of the same thing.
All right. So we threw some people under the bus. We got time for another spin.
Well, we didn't name them. I would be willing to.
I would be glad to name mine. So,
but we won't. We'll spin Megawheel the Magnificent and see what other wonderful topic we can come up with. Okay. This feels like something we've answered in part a different way at a different time. When you dream big, what would you do with your life? I mean, that sounds like one that we already did. I'm going to spin again.
All right.
That was partially because I like the changes to the wheel. I like watching it spin. Like seeing if the person in the picture is going to end up right side up or on their head.
Yes, we did add a face to Megawheel the Magnificent, so
my
she is
God.
recognizable now.
This isn't a question. It's a tome.
Oh.
Are there any specific skills or knowledge you would like to acquire to further your progress towards your aspirations?
No.
That's like the worst interview question ever.
It is. Yeah, it is. And I think at this point in my life, I've achieved every goal that I set out to give myself.
You need new goals.
I guess I need new goals, so I couldn't really tell you what I need to learn for some new fantastic aspiration.
The first thing you need to do is figure out what you want to do.
This is true. Yeah. I just want to go to seed and enjoy my elder years. How about that?
You're a dandelion that's turned into a puffball.
I know. Blow me, baby.
Holy shit.
Make a wish.
Oh, I set that one up pretty well,
you did.
didn't I?
Softballs.
I mean, what would you want to do? Are there any skills that you do want to acquire? Because you're not the kind of person to sit on your hands.
Okay, here's something I would like to do that I was looking around the other day for a modern sculpture to put in my yard.
Yeah.
So I want a nice piece of steel in the yard. Sounds ridiculous. But I was like, well, why don't I just learn how to make them myself?
Yeah.
Now, I looked into it, and I looked into courses because I was like, well, I'll just do that. I'll just start making my own modern sculpture. It'd be great.
Yeah.
But the amount of equipment involved, a little out of my interest to acquire acetylene torches, fancy pants torches,
It's not
plasma
that
this
much.
and that, grinders, all this stuff. And I have no interest in filling my house full of more equipment that my wife's going to have to lug out when she finds me dead on the lawn one day in the future. So I don't want to saddle her with a bunch of extra
she can just
junk.
roll it down the hill into the pond.
There you go. Just tie it around my ankles and toss me in. So.
It wouldn't take that much, and I know a guy that does that kind of metalwork.
Well, maybe he'll make me a sculpture and I'll just pay him, and we'll all...
He might.
And all,
Yeah.
the rising tide will lift all our boats then, won't it?
Yeah, or it could be something where he teaches you.
That's
and
true.
Use the equipment.
So how about you? What are your... what do you need to learn for your aspirations?
I'm always trying to learn new stuff musically. I would love to become a better guitarist. I should be a better bassist than I am now for the length of time I've been playing. I've been going through a phase lately where I'm unhappy with my tone, as evidenced by the 2 overdrive distortions that are sitting on the mixing board right now, the 2 new ones that are on my pedal board down there, the one that's on the guitar board behind you. I've got an overabundance of distortion pedals.
See, he points at these things, and I'm like, oh, you mean that joystick over there on the table? What's that all about?
No, the little push-button-y thing with the
buttons. Yeah, you push the button and the bombs drop. How's that work?
So I think more than anything, better skills as a musician and a recording engineer.
All right.
Because I engineer the stuff for the shows and for Chaotic Designs Radio, the music show that I do. And I'm always trying to get a little bit better, to mix a little bit better. Like with the radio show, with the music, dropping one song into the next and having them weave seamlessly into each other. With our stuff, making sure that the wheel spins, everything sounds good and professional. Because when people are listening to a podcast, I think you can tell when people are, to quote Tim, one of his favorite phrases, you can tell when people are ham and eggers.
Oh, yeah.
When they're just kind of they're doing it half-assed.
Sure.
And I don't want to ever be part of something that seems half-assed. Even if it's kind of raw and dirty, if it's that raw art.
When you can have the whole ass.
Exactly. Don't half-ass it. Take the whole ass.
Exactly.
I really think that. So any new skills I can acquire, whether it's from talking to people that are better at it than me or, watching videos on YouTube, that would be kind of my thing. Cool. And that pretty much does it for this show. We have hit the 20-minute mark, unless you want to roll again.
No, I think we'll save that for the next show. Leave them hanging. Leave them wanting more.
Fantastic. Thank you all for listening. This has been the Gen Existentialists. Next episode, I think we're going to have a special guest, so that'll be cool. Make sure you tune in for that. Until next time, my name is Scott.
I'm Bunny.
Have a good one.